Tax liability can continue even when life itself doesn't. In the first part of two videos, we tell you about ITR filing for deceased taxpayers, who is required to file and how they can prepare to undertake this task. Who is responsible for filing ITR? In case of deceased persons, their legal heirs are required to pay the tax dues, and they may be subjected to interest and even penalty in case of non-payment or non-filing of ITR of the deceased. Legal heirs should thus be aware of their responsibility to file ITR of the deceased taxpayer and settle any corresponding dues. Legal heirs are determined by way of the deceased's will. However, if someone has passed away intestate, that is without a will, then spouse or any of the children, that is surviving family members, may be considered as legal representatives, and as such, one of them can opt to file the return. Law states that in case of a deceased person who has expired during the year, the legal heir will be responsible for filing ITR till the date of death. However, for the remaining period of the financial year, that is after death, this responsibility shall be on the executor of the estate of the deceased till the time assets under such estate are distributed to the legal heir. Here's an example to help you understand better. Say X dies on November 3rd, 2020 and is survived by his son Y. The ITR with respect to FY 2020-21 would be filed as follows. ITR for income from the beginning of the financial year, that is 1st April 2020 to November 3rd, 2020, would be filed by Y as legal heir of X. ITR for income accruing or arising on or after November 3rd, 2020 would be filed separately by the executor of the estate. Note that the liability of the executor to file the return is only until the legal transfers are carried out. After distribution of assets, the complete liability to file ITR goes back to the legal heir. The legal heir will have to file returns and pay taxes in respect of and only to the extent of the estate of the deceased that has come into his or her possession by way of inheritance. Income of deceased person. All income which is accrued or received from the beginning of the financial year till the date of demise is considered as the deceased person's income. Further, tax on any income accrued or received from the assets inherited from the deceased will also be borne by the legal heir. Essentially, such income is considered as the legal heir's own income. What if the legal heir does not file ITR? If the legal heir does not file ITR of a deceased taxpayer by the regular deadline, that is currently September 3rd, 2021 for FY 2021, then he or she may have to face severe consequences for non-compliance. These can include a penalty under Section 270A equivalent to 50% of the tax which may have been avoided by the taxpayer by non-furnishing of ITR, prosecution under Section 276CC, etc. Documents required to file the deceased's ITR. In order to register as a legal heir, the following documents are to be uploaded on the Income Tax Department's e-filing portal. Copy of PAN of the deceased, copy of PAN of legal heir, copy of the death certificate, copy of any of the legal heir proofs from among the following. Legal heir certificate issued by the Court of Law or Local Revenue Authority, surviving family member certificate issued by the Local Revenue Authority, family pension certificate issued by the central or state government, registered will, letter issued by the banking or financial institution in their letterhead with official seal and signature mentioning the particulars of nominee or joint account holder to the account of the deceased at the time of demise. Copy of the order passed in the name of the deceased, mandatory only if the reason for registration is filing of an appeal against an order passed by the tax department in the name of deceased. Copy of the order or notice, mandatory only if the reason for registration is filing of return of income or form for period in which deceased was alive through condonation request, or a notice or order received from Income Tax Department in the name of the applicant for compliance on behalf of a deceased. Copy of indemnity letter. This letter guarantees that payment of all tax claims made with the tax department would be indemnified by the legal heirs filing the return. In layman terms, The legal heirs are providing guarantee for the payment of the tax dues of the deceased to the tax department by way of such indemnity letter. That's a wrap for now. Stay tuned for the second part of this series where we enlist the steps involved for ITR filing of the deceased. Also find out what happens to official financial documents such as Aadhaar, PAN, voter ID, etc. of a holder after his death in our previous video. And don't forget to check out our complete ITR filing guide for FY 2020-21 for you right here.